Hi, good evening. My name is Dan Whitfield. I'm a resident of Benton County, and I actually have a comment followed by a question. And I was referring to the criteria number 9. And I wanted to make it clear that you don't have to have the shape of a salamander or an odd sized shape of a district in order for it to be gerrymandered. You can gerrymander a square. Now, where it says minimize bipartisanship, I'm concerned, especially as a Democratic voter. There are 2 million voters that are not Republicans here in Arkansas. Now, we know that there was an independent panel that could have been chosen to do this redistricting process. That initiative received over 100,000 signatures, and the Secretary of State, John Thurston's office, threw that off of our ballot last year.
What is your question?
My question is, I have one more quick comment to go with my question, if I may. The next part of my comment is that it says minimize bipartisanship, but the committee is 100% partisan. It's led by Jason Rapert, who is very partisan. The board is the Secretary of State's.
What is your question?
Yes, ma'am. I believe there were at least 7 other people who had comments before their questions, much longer.
They weren't lobbying for or against them.
I am not lobbying, ma'am. Would you like me to ask my question before I finish my comment? My question is, how can you alleviate the worries and concerns of Arkansas voters that are not Republicans that this will not be done in a partisan way when the committee is partisan, the board is partisan, and the director, even your son, his name is on Tom Cotton's mortgage, who donated to all of these different people. My question is, how can you alleviate the concerns that this isn't a partisan process?
Let me refer you to the Richo versus Common Cause case of 2019, where the federal court was somewhat befuddled by the challenge and says that partisan gerrymandering represents a political question that is not justiciable in federal court because there is no credible way to define and measure fairness in the political context. The U.S. Constitution doesn't guarantee proportional representation of political parties. It doesn't preclude state courts from hearing cases based on partisanship. That in part may answer your question, but I'm not sure when you say that those of us are partisan in how we draw something. That's a skewed, unfair statement.
Is there one Democrat standing in front of me?
I don't
no problem. A very easier question that's not so partisan.
No, that's a cheap shot.
That's not my intention, ma'am.
Because we belong to one political party or another, and I've been in both parties. So I don't, they're both flawed.
I was a registered Republican for 12 years. I understand.
You said I'm not.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
To assume that these people can't be fair or transparent and make their recommendations to the 3 people who vote is an unfair and prejudicial statement. Now, unless there's something else for you to say. Live streaming?
Yes, ma'am.
You're videoing.
Oh, I'm live streaming as well.
If there's nothing else.
You referred earlier to having another 30-day period after the maps are drawn that will have public comment. Yes, ma'am. Will you be doing the same thing, touring the state to give the population kind of...
we will give people who want input a chance.
Will it only be available online?
Whether it will be a PBS interview of us.
Okay, no problem. And I appreciate you taking the time with my hard question. Would you consider touring the state again once the maps are drawn so we can see the different drawings during that 30-day period?
We will have the time to do it. We will show it, whether it's online, on PBS, or in some format. Yes, the public will have a chance to look at it and have more input.
Okay, I will be looking forward to it. Thank you, Justice Dickey.
Any other questions?